Hey everybody, it's Wednesday the 19th of March. Cheers everybody. So we're in a blizzard. It started last night. It's fairly quiet right now. But last night, my night listening was basically listening to the storm. It was so loud, so windy, and rain turning into snow. But last night it was already ice. So it was raining ice, and sometimes it sounded like my window's gonna break. It was like really pounding for a while. I look outside now, and there's a layer of sleet, ice. It's snowing now, but the white is because of ice. I plan on staying home today. Cheers, folks. So what I did get to had to go get them. I had a stack ready for last night and I only got to one. No, actually I got to two. Okay. So this first one was before the storm hit. And this is Knut, Hamre, and Steve Tibbetts. Now, I know some of you know the name Steve Tibbetts, the guitar player. He's got some good records on ECM. I have one of his solo albums before ECM. He has a distinct guitar tone and sound, which I like quite a bit. Here he is with these musicians, a folk session. Hamze is a fiddle player, not violin so much as fiddle. Now, frankly, at one point while listening to this last night in bed, it was like, well, this is pretty good if they lose the fiddle, which was the whole point of the collaboration, apparently, to put the fiddle with the guitar. It works, but I really like Steve Tibbetts and could hear these tracks minus the fiddle easily. Good stuff. The other thing that I listened to, and then I finally turned it off, and then when I had to get up and it was kind of calm outside, I put it on again. This is wonderful. It had been a long time since I'd listened to this. Jeff Greinke, Changing Skies. Long time atmospheric ambient musician. He's been doing this stuff for a long time. He's very good at it. And what's cool about Jeff Greinke is his use of many different instruments. He plays everything on here. Plays guitar as well as keyboards and percussion. And that's what's kind of cool about his work, is that he has these beautiful ambient flowing pieces, and then the next thing will be a beautiful piece, but it's percussive. But the way he's using percussion, you don't always know that it's percussion. It could be the guitar being banged on. Wonderful stuff. I have a few other Jeff Greinke releases. This last night was a winner. Changing Skies. We're friends on Facebook. I haven't really talked to him though, but I see him in conversations with other folks that I know. Quite a few of my Facebook friends are musicians at this point. I've done a lot of weeding out over the years, a lot. So, with regard to more music, because that's the main thing to share right now, new news is really weird. Can't stand what's happening to my country. This is an old favorite that led to me buying some records on the label. It's a compilation sampler of the Audion label called The Best of Both Worlds. And this is a great sampler. It led to me buying an album by Jim Bartz, which is the standout track on here. I could have grabbed the album, but I didn't. This is wonderful. It has him, Gary Hughes, Laraji is on here, Wave Star, Anthony Phillips is on here. This is a really wonderful selection of instrumental music. Quite a variety. The Jim Bartz is the standout. If you've never heard Jim Bartz, B-A-R-T-Z. Wonderful. I had to play that twice yesterday. Mostly guitar on his piece, but beautifully atmospheric. Jim Bartz, wonderful. A few other plays yesterday because I have my setup for my gig. That's what I worked on yesterday and more today. But a few other things that did get played throughout the day. A couple of disappointments, and I'll start with them. I think this was sent to me to review, although I don't recognize the label. It's Italian though. Giardini di Miro. It looks interesting. And it says on the back, please note, this is not Italian prog rock. It sure isn't. It's kind of, it's an instrumental sound that is not fully realized to my ears. Let's see. So these are some recordings that originally appeared on different vinyl releases. And I just found it a little bit boring, to be honest. There was even one point where they start to play this melody that is just da 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 da. And it's like, why are you doing that? They didn't do anything with it. So if you see this Giardini di Miro, sorry, but this is like, whew, I don't know. I don't know about that one. And this one was like, I remember when it came out, there was a little bit of hype, and it went away real quick. And it needed to, because this is not very interesting. The Grassy Knoll, named after the JFK situation, where the Grassy Knoll. And I had high hopes for it because it's not only on Antilles, but it's also tied in with Network Records and Verve. And with that cool cover, pretty cool anyway. I like the inside better. This is instrumental. It's like trying to be like Miles Davis, where you set up these grooves and people do stuff on top. But the drums are recorded too loud. I don't like the sound of the drums. The drummer is okay, but it's almost like it's your record because your drums are too loud. On all the tracks, the drums are too loud. They're not that interesting. And then that's the problem with this, is that the caliber of the players is not very high. They can play, but it's not very inventive. They have the elements and they don't quite know what to do with them. So this is a disappointment. The Grassy Knoll. 3 more. Excuse me. This one I ended up with, I think my Japanese friends gave it to me. Although they knew excuse me, took my vitamins and breakfast. They knew that I didn't have a big interest in this, but they gave it to me anyway. What's his name? Kenji Suzuki, guitarist. Kenji Suzuki, Pure Electric. A shredder in that old this is made in 1988, and I was going to say that old 80s style of shredding that, to my ears, has not aged well at all. It's bombastic. It's real showy. I think it's trying to be sexy, but it ends up sounding kind of ham-fisted. I mean, he can play, he can shred, but he is repeating blues, American bluesy licks. And there's only really one track number 6 on here caught my attention because it was the most, All Things Must Pass, not George Harrison, but it was the most creative thing on here, where it quieted down from the loud sections and we heard some good melody. It's the sort of thing that my CDs are keepers. I mean, it's like, there's no point in really trying to sell them or trade them. You don't get anything for them. But that's really the first time yesterday that I listened to it all the way through. Could never get through it all the way before because I just didn't like it. And yesterday I was able to appreciate it. But like I said, the guitar playing, he's very skilled, but it has not aged well. Over the top. He probably got laid well because of that album. Probably. The last two were a delight. And this one goes back to my DJ days, where I would use this as a DJ because it has the Mad Lib Cantaloupe track on it. Hip Hop Jazz, Acid Metropolis. It's a volume 1, so several artists. And I hope that the blizzard doesn't rob me of electricity. The lights were flickering, not just this lamp. It does that sometimes, but earlier lights were flickering. I hope I don't lose electricity. This was enjoyable. There are several tracks on here where it's like, for example, I really like Gangstar. Rest in peace, the rapper. But the track on here, it's not a good one, but I like his rapping style. I forget the guy's name. But Cantaloupe is on here by Us Three, which is based on Cantaloupe Island by Herbie Hancock. I thought for a minute I would grab the album to show it, but I don't need to. Funny how, as music changed and hip-hop became dominant, the whole idea of what a hook is expanded. Because in pop music, the hook is usually in the chorus, a very simple, easily remembered and hummed melodic line. But on Cantaloupe, the hook is funky, funky. Isn't that funny? And the other hook is bitty bitty bop. Those are the hooks of the song. The changing of the guard is what happened in hip-hop. Where we went from really getting into solos and stuff and just spoken word and the beats. Last thing I'll show is an old favorite. I had forgotten about this. 90s is this? 1994. Orbital. Snivelization. Boy, I used to play the hell out of this when it first came out. They're an inspiration to me. I don't sound like Orbital, but they have directly inspired the way that I make music. This is very, very good. Still, this holds up to me, to my ears, including the percussion tracks. That's a lot of times what kills something is the rhythm tracks date. People trying to use the sound of the moment or the flavor of the moment, and it doesn't work. So this was just great. Orbital, Snivelization. I have a couple other things, but this is my favorite. Sitting out for play that didn't happen yesterday is Expander by Future Sound of London. I'll go ahead and show it. This might get popped on today. I went through a period of really getting into FSOL and just studying their sound. And then another Jeff Greinke. I pulled two of what I have. Lost Terrain. Maybe tonight for this one. And like I said, I spent most of the day with my equipment in and out of the garage. My garage is a disaster. You do not want to see it. It is such a mess. I really actually need to rent one of those big containers and just throw almost everything out in the... It's going to be major if it ever gets done, I'll be honest. So, besides checking out the latest videos, nothing good, on the blogs, music blogs that I check out, nothing very interesting. I played this. I forget how you... Blocco Mentale is the name of the band, and I don't know how you say the name of the album. Is that Greek? This is a reissue, Italian Prague, and this is... there were moments when I was listening to this where I said, this is not coming together. They can play, but it's kind of goofy sounding to me, which is not a typical thing to say about Italian Prague. Gold vinyl. I bought this though because it kept coming up on lists of Italian albums to hear, and it's ambitious. It just is inconsistent, and there's just parts where it's like, where just like it doesn't even really make sense what they did. But it's still cool with the cover. Blocco Mentale. That's what I have for you, but I will tell you this. I did play this yesterday all the way through. This is wonderful. The Francois Bayle is probably how you say it. Tremblement. This is killer. This is a concept. He was working with a particular... it's like twinkling. It's like this twinkling thing where he's dialing it in, speeding it up, slowing it down, working with the timbre of the twinkle, you know, sharper, less, like changing the perspective on a view. Really good. Francois Bayle. That was wonderful. And I may as well just finish up by saying that I also did play the bazooka I was telling you about. Wow. This is a hidden gem. Why isn't this known about? I have never seen another copy of this record. And I've had it since 1981. It is Stravinsky. They actually play some Stravinsky from Rite of Spring on here, and then they take it into their own thing. This is, wow, bazooka. So that's what I have for you today. My plan is to stay home. The weather is funky. It's blowing snow now. It's a light, not light, it's just real powdery. Whereas last night it was ice and very loud. Okay, folks, I hope you're all doing okay. That's all I have, okay? Talk to you later.